Goodness gracious.
Hi
Check.
there.
How you doing? You got us?
Are you there?
Very marvelously clear. It's just rolling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
You want to use the tab?
I would have been happy if
you
you said that was awful. Never do that again.
Yeah,
Just a backup?
just in case, yeah.
Co-founder is always
Co-founder, but you
executive chairman now.
Okay, executive chairman. I was
But the
trying to
co-founder
remember
is a
what it
part. I think this my personal. Like, hey, you can't. Nobody can take that away from me.
No.
Other titles.
You can't
change.
become
I
a
will
former
always-
founder. You either
Yeah,
found
right.
or you didn't.
was. But we have those beautiful guttural throat-clearing notes now.
Oh, good.
On
Yeah.
record. Yeah, it's funny. Of all the mics I've used over the years, sometimes a phone is just very useful. It's bizarre.
Oh, I thought you were talking about people named Mike.
Oh. Well,
And like you've been really awful to them. It sounds.
well,
Of all the,
You just-
of
you
all
just
the
use
mics,
them
of all
and
the
throw them
mics
away.
I've used over the years.
Yes.
it's
You any
know,
good mics?
so
'Cause
if you're named Mike-
I'm completely out of good ideas for mics because they all suck.
Yeah. Wow. If you're named Mike, stay away from both of these guys because they're just mean. If you're named Mike.
Actually, if you ask my one friend Mike, oh yeah, he would say that too.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
sense that. I wouldn't believe you if you said anything different right now. It wouldn't carry resonance.
But he's like family, so he takes it.
Well, that's your own thing with that mic. But
first. Let's cheers.
okay.
Traditional Vietnamese fashion, Mo Hai Ba Yo.
Yo.
Take a little
I
sip.
can handle the yo part.
So the
classic.
How about the drinking part?
1, 2, 3.
It just means
yo.
1, 2, 3 inside is what it translates to.
Okay, that sounds.
And then sometimes
No,
people
just
will
go-
say, what is one of your best beers right now?
Chum from chum.
Cham Pan Cham, which means 100%.
And they'll
Okay.
tap
And
the
then you
bottom of your
have to-
glass, and whatever's in it, you drink it all.
drink your whole
Oh,
glass.
okay. No, I'm not going to do that
No,
right now.
no, it's,
No, I want to savor
but
this.
that's a very if you ever have the luxury, the glorious chance to go to a Vietnamese wedding, say yes. It's wonderful because there will be so many adult males who will not rest until you are blotto under a table. It's just
And this is something that I want.
it's something you cannot avoid. But it's
Okay.
also they're just I mean I take that end of it and I'm making it
So,
sound a
so
little
it's a
ruder,
Greg.
but
If you ever have the chance, take advantage of what the cultural beauty that is that
yes
of the
At least once.
overconsumption of a Vietnamese wedding.
yes
I think that's actually a bit of universal.
it involves fireworks, it involves all sorts of crazy stuff.
Okay,
It's really
fireworks.
fun.
Are you talking about what the father of the bride says when it's his time to toast?
No,
Is that kind of fireworks?
Like,
No.
they'll light the ceiling of a hotel on fire for you
Okay.
in celebration, like indoor fireworks show.
It's bizarre, but it's very.
I've seen the ceiling catch on fire.
I
at a
mean,
wedding.
normally I will say no to a wedding. Yeah, like, oh, geez, I'd love to, but I'm going to be out of town. I'm busy. I'm,
The most-
knitting at that time. And so in this case,
The most recent wedding I've been to had a giant wedding cake, which a giant plastic wedding cake.
that's not so
But it was-
common
but it was
or
plastic,
uncommon.
And
plastic, of
it was
course.
cut in half, and you stood behind it, and it rotated, and it was a photo op. So like a lot of Vietnamese people really like to do selfies or take photographs with each other.
I think that's called being people.
No, I agree, but they do it with a vigor that I was never used to in the States.
Okay.
There's an intensity to it, and you're right. That is certainly a thing of being human. And I'm not trying to separate anybody
I
apart
think
out here.
Vietnam just scored.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that might be goal number 2. So
Yeah.
right now, everybody, I haven't even mentioned the name of this podcast yet, but right now, this is 2018 Suzuki Cup, Vietnam v Malaysia. We're really close to Walking Street, where there's what can only be described as 1 million people just crazy off their butts, hoping for Vietnam to win.
And I walked through it on my
Yeah.
way here, and it was talk about a cultural experience. There
Yeah.
were no ceilings on fire from fireworks.
Nope.
But I think there were a lot of over exuberant, or well, let's just say exuberant. I can't say they were over.
Yeah.
Very exuberant. Vietnamese folks with the occasional expats mixed into the crowd like me, and it was really quite a scene.
I've seen them celebrate a lot of things in the 5 years I've been here. They love football
Yeah.
the most.
Well, I happened to be lucky enough to be in Berlin when Germany won the World Cup a few years back,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was quite an experience.
It was.
Yeah, talk about
I bet that
fireworks.
was,
They definitely had non-consumer fireworks being set off in the middle of this revelrous
Yeah.
street by consumers. You know, the kind of stuff where you go, they light it and go, boom, boom. You know, it's got that really deep boom.
Oh, that's gonna hurt someone.
Oh yeah,
It's like a depth charge.
And the thing is, the guy is wobbling as he is, you know, unsuccessfully 3 times trying to light the fuse because he's missing it because he's so wasted.
Yeah.
And then he kind of is over it for a second. You're like, okay, that was a face he used to have, and then gets out of the way just in time, and we watch this on repeat. It was fortunately I didn't see anybody get hurt, although I'm certain people must have.
Yeah, unfortunately, people probably did.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens when you have fun.
This is
so Josh,
let's run into it.
Can you kick off the what Sexy Meat Talks is and how this podcast works?
All right, let's get going. This is Sexy Meat Talks. I'm here with Mark and Greg Koch from Stone, and Kwanudu. Mark's with Voodoo. Greg Koch is with Stone, and I'm Josh. So we're talking about sexy meat and beer, and beverage, and everything that makes this scene out here in Asia wonderful and welcoming and just a great experience. I
want to say that normally my fee is a 5x minimum when I have to talk about sexy meat. But this time I'm going to waive it, just because you guys seem like you're really into the sexy meat subject.
We're on the up and up. Yeah.
I wanted to kind of come in and put my toe in the water.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that to the nth degree.
Okay.
To the sexiest degree.
Okay, now I'm not so sure, but I'm still with it.
So
I haven't walked away yet.
So
we've done a few of these podcasts, and what we've realized is craft beer and it is something that makes meat even sexier. So there's a natural tie-in, and
it's a bit easy though, because craft beer makes everything sexier.
Sure, but doesn't meat make everything sexier?
I think it makes me sexier.
So they find
and I don't know, you know, like I don't.
Yeah,
but you know what? Can I erase that sentence that I just said? Cause,
we can do a.
No, yeah. Why don't you just?
You can be right.
Or put it on a loop.
And
I
I won't disagree with it though.
Make a dubstep out of it.
You could also say like, doesn't bacon make everything sexier?
Yeah, it does. It does. That's kind of the fundamental.
So then craft beer makes bacon sexier. So that, like, they feed off each other and they're directly connected.
Count me in.
All right, sounds good.
So, Greg, you're out here for a really awesome reason. Let's preface all of this with your experiences out here, what you're willing to talk about, what you're doing out here, and
what are you suggesting?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to pry for.
That's what interviews are supposed to be for.
Yeah, ask the tough questions,
Josh.
Also diving into
the
sexy meat level.
Okay.
There's an expectation.
Fine. How many skeletons are in the closet of your hotel right now?
None with meat on them, so therefore they're out of the subject matter, aren't they?
We're clear. We're good.
They're meatless skeletons.
I only care about skeletons with meat on them.
Mm-hmm. So the publicly digestible answer is, which is actually the real answer.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm on a small Southeast Asia tour, meeting with our importer wholesalers, trying to understand a little bit the market. When you're in the business, you always want to think to yourself, how can I improve the way that we do business with our partners who are representing us in parts of the world? Mm-hmm. How can we connect with them so that they understand us and our philosophies and details about our beer and the care and feeding of it, etc. Plus, I actually am a bit of a travel junkie myself, and I've been to Vietnam before. It was 11 years ago, I figure, and so I was thrilled to come back.
So last night we had a
talk sexy meat.
And talk the sexy meat.
Yeah.
Last night we had a wonderful experience. We had a bunch of great people in the same room, all just having a great time talking to each other, exploring how we can make things even better, networking, doing all the natural things people do when they're out drinking and eating food.
And then I showed up.
Oh, you started it off. But what was some of the fun stories you heard last night? What were some of the nice and what do you remember from last night that really was like, damn, that was a good moment?
That's hard to, when you have moments or evenings like that, putting a finger on a precise moment can be a little challenging.
Was it too many, or was it just
it's just so what I'm actually. So what I think about last night and my visit here in Vietnam, it's more of an amalgamation of all this sensory input. So we have the sensory input that we're seeing from this nice fourth floor balcony overlooking a street corner that's busy and a place where people are celebrating the game, across the street in an outdoor garden area. And also then the people I meet in the craft beer scene and the conversations there. So I've gotten to meet a number of brewers and people who are as excited about craft beer as I am, which is always exciting for me because my people.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's tough to boil it down to one particular moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It really is. I'm not trying to evade. I kind of just, instead, I think about last night. I'm like, that was kind of awesome. I would enjoy doing that again. And I met people
So
that I
it's not
like.
a moment, it's the whole experience.
Yeah. And hey, you know, I talked with you guys last night and you said, hey, would you like to do a Sexy Meat podcast? And I'm like, initial reaction would be, hell no. But somehow that was overcome in the you know, the verb and the moment.
All right.
Fortunately, the beer worked in our favor.
Well, then why don't we segue to
Right into it.
what's your sexiest meat experience?
You know, I actually can answer that.
Okay.
But I'm a little embarrassed. I can't think of his name right now. There's a fellow in Berlin who is a leading meat guy. He's been a revivalist of sausage styles that had been lost in Germany. He's
I'm sold. A sausage revivalist?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a traditional sausage style that he helped revive, and there's a wonderful place called Market Hall 9, Market Hall 9, and they have Street Food Thursdays once a week, and you go there, and it's kind of hipstery and it's kind of cool kids-ish. But they have all these market stalls where they then will open up and serve you small plates. And it's a bit of a scene, and it's awesome, and it's energetic, and you're seeing and meeting the people that are doing the more interesting things in Berlin. And this guy they have a meat stand. I will have to look it up. Maybe you'll post it on a link or something, because my brain is not able to come up with it right now.
Would you say that's kind of like food truck culture?
It's food truck culture, but in a market hall without the trucks. But it's still that style. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a good description.
Okay.
Cool. And these guys are, you know, snout to tail mentality. They really source everything. You know, a lot of people say, I know the name of the animal. No, they really, maybe not the name, but they know where it was raised and who was raising and what the ethics and all this, because these guys are so focused on that. And the products that they create are above and beyond, and I've had the great pleasure of being able to experience a lot of sexy meat in my life.
Awesome.
Yes, I've filled myself up with it many a time, and came back asking for more. I'm really trying to dig myself in a hole here.
And we're letting you do it.
Yeah. There is something about sexy meat that just makes you, say, yeah, okay, I'm in. I'm going to go there.
Well, Mark said it to me a while ago. And it's something I feel like it's something you say a lot, and you say a lot because it's correct. You can have a steak. It's about the difference between a steak and a burger. Do you want to say it?
Sure. If I just asked you and you didn't put much thought into it, what's your favorite thing? A lot of people will say steak over burger. But then what I've learned over the years is if I have a good steak, I don't need a steak for a week or two. But I can have a good burger every day of the week because you can do so much to it. You can have it so many different ways. The quality of the bun, a pretzel roll, a soft roll, or this. So it's like, to me, that's like taking a simpler cut of meat, a cheaper cut of meat, and you make it sexy with what you put around it. And that's why, I always say craft beer makes meat sexier. It does, because the pairings, and that's probably also the next thing I want to ask you is, what are your favorite meats to pair with different Stone products? Is there a pairing in specific?
It would be more of preparation than a specific meat product. But you know what? Honestly, when it comes down to it, my food and beer pairing personal preferences, because I've done many food and beer dinners, very high-endy, very pub style-y, the full range. is whatever beer I feel like and whatever dish I feel like. That is my favorite pairing.
Cool.
I'm very in the moment of, you can
Sure.
think about it, and I'm not worried about overthinking, because every time I've ever overthought or somebody has brought me a pairing that they maybe overthought, that's been wonderful too. So the overthinking is not a detriment. Like, if you want to really kind of dive in, you can bring out some characteristics and flavor matching and contrast and all this. It can be awesome. If you want to kind of get all
Technical.
deep into it.
Yeah.
If you want to get really deep into your sexy meat, or have it get never mind. And
Wow.
but I like
use
to,
both hands is my short answer.
Well.
How it works.
Can I tell you this? I used both hands earlier today when I was over at Saigon Craft, and
Okay.
the owner pulls out a shake weight.
Whatever.
I
Whoever
had
invented
never.
that is a genius.
So it turns out
Yeah.
that he knows him personally and has worked with him in the past.
Oh.
Tell me the
wow.
owner of Saigon Craft. Help me out here. I know him.
His name's John?
Yeah, John.
Yeah.
Thank you. So John is a delightful
I
fellow.
would have been embarrassed as a
Yes,
member
I
of the
will. I'm a little
craft beer
embarrassed. I blame the beer and the sexy meat for my faulty brain
I blame the
cells.
sheer volume of awesome people in this city.
Yes,
it's
that
hard
too.
to keep track of them all.
Yeah.
So anyways, he has a professional relationship with the shake weight guy. And so he brought out a shake weight. It was new, and he unboxed it for us.
I think
And I held for the first, and then I did and I learned the proper way to do it. Two-handed is the way
Of
to
course,
do it.
yeah.
Well, of course. See, some of us know that, some of us don't.
No, I
wonder,
see.
because
It would have to be-
I've not had the pleasure, but can you share with us? Is it a little anticlimactic? Is it a lot of work for nothing, or is it fulfilling in some way?
It was definitely fulfilling in some way. I did not have a full shake weight experience.
How
I
much
just
ice
did a little
cream
trial.
did you eat when you were done? Is it
I had an entry level experience.
took a nice little nap and then you're good?
I'm gonna go on to Amazon or whatever and order myself up one.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
cool. He has a professional relationship with him. A personal relationship with the guy who invented that thing. That might be a
And
little challenging.
and it turns out that guy has a house in Encinitas, which is
Uh-oh.
right next to Solana Beach, and in San Diego, which is where I live.
Uh-oh. So there could be
So
some
I'm
way
gonna
a beer
I asked for
collaboration.
a collaboration with shake weight and with beer. I'll think on that.
It's about as irreverent as it can be.
I like where we're going.
It's like so. Do you guys remember those shake and bake commercials?
Yes, I do, because
Oh my
I am
goodness.
old enough.
Boy, I am too. But I mean, like, of course we.
You're a
but,
puppy.
Kids, ask your
Okay.
parents.
Yeah. But I remember seeing that on TV, and we were like, it just doesn't make any sense. But I would love to see how that could be extrapolated. You could extrapolate that
you could
experience and make that into.
You could cross the two products together.
Right?
You could be shaking your shake and bake while you're.
I was thinking more of the beer, but yeah, sure. No, but
I thought
okay.
you were going for a cross promotion with shake and bake. Okay.
Well, okay, let's not just do two. Let's do three.
Because that's semi-sexy meat.
Let's do a tri motion. It's a tri promotion. It's a three-way, I guess.
I have now exited myself from this conversation, not because I don't think it's wonderful, but I just don't have anything to add at this particular moment.
Sure.
Mark and I do get on our trains of thought.
Mm.
So you're one of the things I love about this expat community out here. This wonderful. There's so many people out here doing restaurants, great food, great beer, great experiences. Last night, we all decided we were hungry, and we went and got some pho. And
You took us to your favorite sidewalk place, which was
it's
really cool.
my favorite
experience.
place, and this city is full of small restaurants like that, which are just wonderful, and also places like this are also just wonderful. And I feel like this city has a strange. There's a strange relationship, or a lack
it's
thereof.
a
I'm not
meaning
sure.
of the old world and
Yeah.
the new. So the place we're at is a traditional brick and mortar style, like establishment,
Mhm.
versus last night where it was a folding table on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
And as we walked up with 9 or 10 people or so, they then brought out the folding table and the accoutrements and the chairs that were required to accommodate us. all rush. They're like, okay, this is a customer group we want. We're going to take care of you. And we went like a quarter block down, or a few meters down, and bam! Within a few moments, our sir, your table is ready. It wasn't quite a waiter's towel over the arm kind of a thing, but it was wonderful. It was great.
But they're hospitable. I happen to know they're usually open to about 4 a.m. But that's emblematic of this experience, and I'm curious because you said you do travel a lot, and I know I'm sure with your position in your company, you must travel a lot. Have you experienced other places that have a similar vibe, or was that very different from other places?
So I've experienced it in India, things like that. I went to a night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. kind of a street sidewalk. It was an amalgamation gathering of different vendors and whatnot.
Sure.
Off of little wheelbarrow carts and things like, and it was my very first, this is a number of years ago, my very first night in India. Couldn't sleep, and so wandered out. The food was incredible, and I now realize, knowing a little bit more, I maybe dodged a bullet as far as something that might make me sick that the locals can handle because they're acclimatized, but me as a visitor was not. But
Sure.
I did not have that problem, and it was a spectacular experience. I've done this in Thailand, in other parts of Southeast Asia, sort of street food. One of my favorite things is to get a green papaya salad in Thailand.
One of the best. That might be one of the most rock solid balanced dishes in the world.
Yeah.
Sweet, sour, crunchy,
salty,
funky, bitter. Everything is
yeah.
there. It's a beautiful dish. I think a lot of people who've been in this region will agree.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
What I'd like to finish up with is, in your experiences with beer, was there a time and a place, or a beer in a dish that you use as a level, you use as your standard? For example, when I talk about pizza, I always go for pepperoni and garlic, because for me, when I walk into a place that serves pizza, that's my favorite pizza personally, and that to me is my standard for what is a good, or maybe not good, or maybe just not great pizza. Do you have a pairing like that mentally? Is there something like that?
I'm very neophilic, and so that of course means that I love new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so as many wonderful experiences as I have, I am also
always
seeking the new, but not to a fault. I actually, it might be 50-50. There are many times when it comes to beer, when it comes to food, my local restaurants in Solana Beach, where I just want that comfort of something that I know that I love, and it's a mood. And then sometimes, especially when I'm traveling, when that comfort of something I love isn't available to me, then okay, bring it on, let's discover new stuff. Honestly, the beer that I've had here at Beercraft, blended with the Arrogant Burger by our chef friend, my Sexy Meat experience, this is a great experience. It was just is it the most memorable of all time? No. Is it right up there with so many other wonderful experiences? Absolutely it is. So
yeah, that ties back into what you said earlier about pairings. It's like, you know what? I want a blonde ale with my buffalo wings, or I want a chocolate stout with my chocolate brownie.
That's what you're wanting.
It's what I feel
Have
like.
at it, baby.
Instead of the chef telling you what's the perfect pairing.
Well, and I don't mind the suggestions either, because
No, but I just said, full circle what you said earlier, and you answered this question almost in the same fashion. But
that was my way of agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Sounded like I was making a counterpoint, but I was actually agreeing with you.
So cool. I'll follow up with one last question, and we can wrap it up. Have you ever, or do you ever intend to put meat in your beer?
I have no current plans.
And never have put meat in your beer either?
Have we ever done an oyster? I don't. We have a couple of small breweries, little systems, and we allow an inordinate amount of freedom with our brewers there. And because I travel so much, they will often brew mini beers that I never even try. because and it just flows through. And if something wants to get to broader distribution within Stone, then it definitely goes past me, as well as my partner Steve and our team for approvals. But it doesn't require my approval at all to try something. So we may have made something. We haven't made anything outrageous. I remember Colorado Brewery Wynkoop made some with Rocky Mountain oysters. They made the Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah,
we found that.
So we haven't done
If
anything
there's Rocky
like
Mountain
that.
oysters in it, Josh has been there.
I'm right there, guys.
Okay.
So I'm on the record.
In the rankings of sexy meat, 1 to 10, where does that rank for you?
I'm gonna put it at I plead the fifth.
Okay, I think you just answered. We
Yeah,
got it
I'm gonna
loud and clear,
That's
ladies
a
and
10
gentlemen. Did
plus.
we not?
That's a Victoria's Secret if we're talking
All
about
right.
like casual
Well,
wear.
Okay.
Cheers, everyone, to great beer and sexy meat.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on the show. This is one of the more unique experiences I've had in podcasts.
Greg, thank you so much. Mark, always a pleasure.
Unique by that didn't.
Yeah, no,
go
this
like
is a
that.
podcast which the entire thing was a lot of fun, and I think we have completely unusable material.
Well,
Yeah, we're not trying to make life hard for anybody. Pat, hit the record. That does stop it, or what does that do?
that deleted it.
It started just now.